I just wanted to throw out 3 of my personal tips to build a professional and polished presentation, and this goes for all divisions. So my first tip is only choose the poses that make you look bomb and nothing less. If a pose doesn't make your physique look absolutely killer, don't do it. There are certain poses that are required, like a front pose and a back pose, but if the pose is voluntary and optional, you should design that into your presentation only if it just shows your absolute best. If it's so-so, I wouldn't mess with it. If it shows a weakness, I definitely encourage you to throw that out, because I see a lot of posing routines that are kind of like copy and paste, or maybe they're overwhelming, or they're poses that just don't work for you. So if it doesn't work for you, this leads into my second suggestion: keep it simple and keep it shorter in your poses that you're using. There's absolutely nothing wrong with using less poses if those poses show your physique in the best light. It does not make sense to me to throw in poses that don't serve you well. So certain angles, certain sides, left or right. Some poses are just not cut out for everyone. And so just because somebody else does it doesn't mean that you should incorporate it. But what you should do is ask yourself, what does this show? What are my highlight points? What are my strengths? And choose poses that only show that. That way, when you go up there, you're hitting less poses, but they're your best poses. And then you can spend more time in those poses so that the judges can see you and absorb that. I do see a lot of presentations that, like I said, they get overwhelmed, they get overcomplicated, too many poses, and then it's either showing weaknesses or you're running out of time, because there is a time constraint on amateur posing presentation, I mean. So you definitely don't want to be up there longer than what's necessary. Longer doesn't mean better, and more poses doesn't mean better. So it would be, in my opinion, wiser to choose your absolute best, hit the poses, stay in the poses a little bit longer, and then just keep it simple, so that you, leading into my third tip, so that you can hit these poses with intention and confidence. If you can't own a pose in your presentation, or you can't control or manage it, I also don't think that you should do that, because I promise you, when you get up in that moment and you're faltering or you're struggling to hit that pose when it's not necessary, that's going to show on your face. And your entire body language and everything that goes in your mind is going to show through your face, and it's going to send a message to the judges. So if you go out there and you own your poses and you hit them with confidence, that sends a message, a very positive one. But if you go out there and you're second guessing yourself, or maybe you didn't practice it enough, or maybe it's just a really tough pose for you to do to either get into position or to hold or hit, that concern is also going to show on your face. So to eliminate stress, I just think it's better to recap, choose the poses that you feel absolutely confident in, keep less poses, keep it simple, and then own those poses. And so that is why in my posing course, I offer so many variations of poses, so that you can go through the course, try them on, and say, okay, these poses work really well for me. And now you have them in your arsenal to choose from to build on your presentation. The other benefit to the course is I provide template examples of as many presentations as I can think of for each division. So what that means is, if you don't know where to start, you have a base that you can copy from what I've provided, but you can tweak things to individualize it. And so you can also take parts of one presentation and parts of another presentation and combine them to create your own total thing. So it's a good base starter just to give you ideas if you just don't know where to start, but it also kind of gives you some base guideline to branch out and get more creative and combine some of the poses that you learned from the course and plug them in from the presentation templates, or just come up with your own completely. So I just wanted to hit on like my personal opinion on what makes a stellar presentation versus a so-so presentation. So if you have questions about the course or what it can provide, shoot me a message. But also take these tips that I just provided you with and start questioning your presentation right now. Like if you already have a presentation, come back to it and reassess it to dissect it with those tips. And you might find that that dramatically improves your presentation. Or if you're just like, I have no idea what to do with a presentation, that might be a good use for the course. So yeah, I hope that helps you guys.